Hello, good evening, good evening, good evening. Excuse me. Yeah, welcome to another video. I was going to do this tomorrow, and then I thought I'll do it tonight because one of my friends, Dale, he does a live stream on a Wednesday. So I thought, well, I'm not doing anything tonight anyway, so why don't I do it tonight and allow you guys to kind of watch something tonight. Oh, sorry, I'll start again. It gives you something to watch tonight and then also something to watch tomorrow. Evening, Bob. How are you, mate? How you doing? Have you had any more thoughts about the what do you call it? What the hell is it? The cave visit thing. It'd be good if you could come, mate. But I totally understand that. Yeah, real life does get in the way from time to time. Um, so anyway, you can keep me posted, Bob. So anyway, listen, this video, it's effectively an excuse for me to listen to some SID music. I don't really sit and listen to like some people. I usually need kind of an excuse to do so, and sharing it with you guys is always something that's good fun. So anyway, yeah, Ben Daglish. Yeah, I'm just looking at the website. He was born in 1966, and he sadly died in 2018. So yeah, I mean, it makes you kind of reflect on things when people, you've lived beyond them. Never had the chance to actually meet him. I did share a room with him, if that makes any sense. I don't mean a hotel room. I was at one of the Retrovision events. When would it be? 2005, something like that, I think it was. And Ben was there. He was there with his team, but I was too nervous to go up and speak to him. If I'd met him like now, you know, when I've been doing YouTube, whatever, I would have definitely spoke to him, and he would have been one that I would have been chasing to get on my channel. But sadly, that's not going to happen. Oh, I was wondering what that was. I thought it was my phone. It's somebody peeping the horn outside. So anyway, listen, I'm going to batter on. I really need to kind of knock this on the head no later than 9:30. So what I've done is it's always difficult. Like I said, when I did the Rob Hubbard one last week, trying to narrow it down to 10 songs is pretty difficult. In fact, did I actually manage that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No, I've actually included 11 here. It's my show, so I get to pick an extra one. So yeah, these are. I mean, Ben didn't. He wasn't as prolific as probably Martin Galway or Rob Hubbard. I mean, Rob Hubbard was just he was knocking out tunes left, right, and centre. But some of the stuff that Ben Douglas did do was just incredible. So anyway, I'm going to stop talking and we're just going to crack right on. And so let's get this hopefully PC screen. There we go, Ben Douglas, the main man. Right, the first one I have picked, it's a game that I was never aware of. Mask 3. I think Mask was one of these. Was it a kind of anime cartoon type thing? I'm not exactly sure, but this is a great little track. This is track one from Mask 3, The Venom Strikes Back, and this was released in 1988 by Gremlin Graphics. So hopefully this will work. one ended rather abruptly. Yeah, great. I'm not familiar with the game, like I said. I think it was some kind of arcade type game, but yeah, really, really nice little track. Is the sound levels a bit better, Bob? I did actually turn it down, but I think I should have turned it down on my headphones rather than messing about with the actual levels. The next one, now, again, these are not to say that these are the best tunes, these are simply my favourites. Um, this one, you're going to know, it's probably the earliest, it's one of the first SID tunes that I heard that I was really impressed with, and I used to play over and over again. And it's not an original, but it doesn't have to be an original to make it a good SID track. You know what this one is? It's Loco. That was Evening Delt. Yeah, it's quite a short tune. Obviously, it's based on Jean-Michel Jarre, but I think this is a great rendition of it, so enjoy. Yeah, like I said, it's not the best technical track in the world. I mean, it's one of Ben's sort of first ones, but for me, it's all about the nostalgia of playing the game. Um, the annoying thing about the game was the music restarted every time he died, which happened a lot. So I never ever got to hear that track all the way through until maybe a couple of years ago. I can actually play the game pretty well, but back in the day, I was absolutely pish at it. But yeah, again, like I said, it's a Show Michelle Yar track. Well, Equinox Part 5, I wouldn't have known that, but still, great tune. Like I said, loads of happy memories. Yeah, sorry, I'm just looking at these comments. Yeah, if your subs are above 1 to 2,000, you just hit sync and leave it to it. Your PC does not need to be on. Oh, right, okay, I'll need to have a look at that, Dale. Thank you very much. Yeah, apparently it's some way of backing up YouTube. As I mentioned on my Friday Waffle, my mate Steve, his channel disappeared through no fault of his own, and you get no support at all from YouTube unless you're some massive channel. Yeah, for me personally, the only videos I've ever backed up. I mean, I've got something like 2,500 videos backed up. My Friday Waffles, probably about 10 years worth, and that's been it. But I'll have a look at that. So anyway, thanks, Dale. Right, anyway, let's back on to the music. I think we need to play. Let's have a look. I think this was it was like I was going to say a rip-off of Bomberman, not Bomberman, a rip-off of Bombjack called Bomo. I remember playing it and thinking it was all right, but I'm sure Zap gave it a completely pish review. But it has got a really good title track. So listen to this one. This is Bomo. This came out. I don't know when it came out. We'll find out when I hit play. Evening, Keith. Yep, Hubbard may be my favourite SID musician, but Ben is a really close second in terms of quality. Yeah, I mentioned earlier on that, I mean, he didn't do anywhere near the same number of tunes that like probably Galway or Hubbard. I mean, he did. I don't know how many he did. He did a ridiculous number. But yeah, this kind of smaller catalogue that he did do are fantastic. Yeah, really good. So next one I'm going to pick. Right, I think it's time. I've actually picked two tracks from this particular game. This is probably the pinnacle of his career from my kind of point of view, and it was a bit of a it was a landmark game. It was featured lots of different people, and it's Last Ninja. No surprise there. Let's see, Daglish. Now I've actually picked two tracks because, yeah, there were something else. Let's see. No, we don't want live. We want that one, right? We're going to go for. Oh no, hang on, last. We don't want. Yeah, there we go. Don't want remix. We're going to go for track number 1. Yeah, as Keith says here, every track in The Last Ninja's perfection. Yeah, I mean, you can really hear how refined the instruments that he used at that point were. It he just got better and better. I don't have as much nostalgia for Ben Daglish purely and simply because I had kind of moved across to the Atari 8-bit, sorry, Atari 8-bit. I'd moved across to Atari ST in 1987, and a lot of Ben's stuff kind of came out after that, so I don't have as much nostalgia or knowledge of it like I do with obviously Martin Galway and Rob Hubbard. Steve's asking, am I going to do one of these on David Whittaker? Absolutely. Of course I will. Excuse me. So yeah, that's the first track from that game. You can probably guess what the second one's going to be, but I might just keep that one to the very end. Right, the next one. Thanks very much for joining me tonight, by the way, folks. This is just I'm picking actually picking 11 Ben Daglish SID tunes that I like. It gives me an excuse to play them. So the next one, without any, there's no order at all. Let's have a look. I'm going to go for Deflector. Now again, it's not a game that I was. Is that how you spell it? Def, is it Deflector? Is that how you spell it? This certainly is. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, this came out in 1987. Again, it was released by Gremlin Graphics. I think almost all of Ben Douglish's music was by Gremlin Graphics. Just with a big logo there. Anyway, I'll shut up. This is Deflector. I knew I was going to forget to unmute myself. Every time I do that, I always I mute it because I don't want you hearing me sniffling, whatever it is. Anyway, yeah, sorry, right? You don't know what I'm going to. Yeah, I've just given the game away. The next one is Trap, which was a track written by, I think it was by Tony Crowther as well. They kind of did a bit of a collaboration. It was for a game, a shoot 'em up that Tony Crowther wrote. I never actually heard it in the game. The first time I heard that was when it was a demo, the Trap demo. And you probably guess what I was doing there. I was pretending to be the big Buddha playing the drum. You'll hear the drum when it starts. So anyway, enjoy. This is quite a long one, I think, but it's a absolute classic. Let's just find it. There we go. Trap. Enjoy. Yeah, 9 minutes and 46 seconds. Yeah, that's an absolute classic. It really is. I mean, I didn't know that actually. Apparently, it's based on the Eve of the War of the Worlds by Jeff Wayne. Never knew that. My knowledge of music's pretty shit, as you can probably tell. But yeah, it says they're made famous by the Wii Music. Wii Music was that was Tony Crowther and Ben Daglish. The demo was actually called The Gladiator, which featured a drummer drumming to rhythm in the lower left corner of the screen and showed a movie in the upper right. If you've never seen it, it's worthwhile checking out. Really good. So yeah, that was the theme tune to the game Trap. Next one we're going to go for is let's take it a wee bit upbeat. This might not be everyone's cup of tea, but I like the game and I like the music as well. This is Crackout. Yeah, you can tell Ben was just having a lot of fun with that tune. Yeah, Alleyway, I do remember that. Yeah, it was a. I think it was just a. Was it not just Breakout? I mean, was there any power ups? It was a game that was released on the Game Boy. I do remember. I never had it, but if I remember rightly, I think it was not just a bat and ball, and there was no in bricks. I don't remember there being any kind of any sort of like power ups or anything. Nothing like Arkanoid. So yeah, right, four to go. What are we going to pick? What are we going to pick? Right, yeah, this is a beauty. Again, I'd never actually played the game. I'd moved on to 16-bit at that point. This is a Hades Nebula. Yeah, enjoy this. Quite a short one. Yeah, short and sweet. That's the only thing I don't like about that tune is it's too short, but really nice. Just a totally different from Krakow. But yeah, Ben could turn his hand to any kind of music. Covers, make his own original stuff as well. So yeah, nice little track there. Right, three to go. Yeah, let's go for one. This is a game I was actually playing the other day there. And it is actually been one of my mates, Mark 20th Century Gaming. Actually, he gave me an idea for a video when I was playing this game, and I was prepping the video earlier on tonight. Actually, hopefully get it finished and get it put out next week. This is Cobra. Bloody awful game. Well, it wasn't quite as bad when I was playing it last night. I actually got further, but not a particularly good game, but it does have a really good track. Now, I think this track is actually based on an another piece of music. I'm not quite sure. Probably once I start it, I'll actually tell you. But yeah, this was Cobra. This came out in 1986, and the game was released by Ocean, I think. Yeah, apparently that was based on the track from the film Cobra, which apparently was pish. I don't even know if I've seen it. Was that the one with Bridget Nielsen? I think it might have been. Yeah, yeah. Sylvester. I mean, I love Sylvester Stallone. Well, all his kind of early stuff, Rambo, Rocky films, all these ones. But he did kind of go through a bit of a when he started to believe that he was actually important. Sort of 90s. Some of the stuff that he put out was absolutely shit. Yeah, he kind of believed the hype. Unfortunately, the thing about the Rocky films and all that, he was very, very quite sort of. Yeah, he didn't think he was great. But yeah, once he started becoming more famous, says the films that he put out, Demolition Man, Judge Dredd, bloody terrible films. Anyway, right, two to go. Right, we know what one is going to be the last one, and this second last one is Firelord. Again, not a game that I ever actually played, um, but it's got a really nice little tune. Yeah, that tune very, very classical, and it kind of nailed the theme of. I think Firelord was kind of set in sort of Victorian, well, it was before that actually, but yeah, great little track. Again, it kind of shows the sort of versatility of Ben, the way he was able to, use different kind of lead instruments. So anyway, yeah, that's. Well, tell you what, before we play the last one, and you all know what it is. As I was going through tunes tonight. I always talk about how the SID the SID chip wasn't always good. The early games on the Commodore 64 had awful sound, and it was only when the Ocean Loader and Rob Hubbard and whatever came along that we realised, wait a minute, this thing is actually really, really good. I'm going to let you hear a couple of SID tunes. that you're probably familiar with the Darling Brothers. Yeah, they programmed their own tunes. Now this is what you this is some of the this came out in 1984, so this is a kind of SID music. Evening, Ego. I don't know what it is about you, Ego. You always turn up just as I'm about to finish. Is that intentional? I'm not quite sure. No, you're thinking of Kenny Douglas. Ben Daglish was a SID musician. He wasn't just a SID musician, he was a musician. No, Kate, you're thinking of Kenny Douglas, the guy that used to score against England all the time. But anyway, yeah, if you think that the SID chip was always good, this is an example of early Commodore 64 music. And not forgetting, and even and you see that's actually only half shit. And finally, yeah, that's what we were subjected to in the early days of the Commodore 64, and then Rob Hubbard came along, and yeah, he did Thing in a Spring, and the rest is history. I don't know whether I've heard that Ben Daglish might be related to Kenny Daglish, possibly. We'll never know. Right, anyway, let's get the last one on the table, as I say, Daglish, and it's going to be your last ninja, and you know what one it is? It's the Wastelands. uh, Last ninja, and it's going to be track number 3. Yeah, just uh, just just before I play this, just remember that this is actually this bit of music is actually coming from a Commodore 64. And we'll just think about Ben. He's no longer here, and we do miss him a lot. So this is the Last Ninja, and this is the Wastelands music. Enjoy. Yeah, SID music doesn't really get much better than that. That is absolutely awesome. Right, anyway, folks, listen, I'm going to. Yeah, Mark's put me in the mood for a Chinese takeaway. Crispy duck. Listen, thank you very much to everybody that's tuned in tonight. Yeah, we're almost halfway to the week, and it'll be downhill to the weekend. So until next time, folks. Yeah, again, thank you very much for taking time to watch this. And as always, folks, thank you very much for watching.